Hi everyone, welcome back to our AI in Action Building with Copilot Studio series. Knowledge in Microsoft Copilot Studio allows you to add enterprise data from Power Platform, Dynamics 365, and external systems to provide insights and information to your end users. In this episode, I'm going to share how you can add different knowledge sources for your Copilots. Let's dive straight into it. When viewing a custom Copilot in Copilot Studio, there's a section in the Overview tab called Knowledge. There's a setting that allows a Copilot to use its own general knowledge. I'll disable this option as I want Copilot to use the knowledge sources that I select. Now, in our previous episode, Gomo showed how to reference public-facing websites as a knowledge source for your Copilot. Let's learn how to add a SharePoint site as a knowledge source. Select Add Knowledge, followed by selecting SharePoint and OneDrive. I'll paste the URL from my IT Help Desk SharePoint site, which has multiple pages with information and documents already uploaded. I'll next select Add to add this SharePoint site as a knowledge source. We can see that the site has now been added, and I can proceed with testing my Copilot by describing in natural language what I need help with. I'll tell Copilot that I need to report my lost device, and in a few seconds, we'll see the Copilot respond by providing me with information based on a document that resides in the SharePoint site I previously added as a knowledge source. Now, it's always good to verify the information provided is correct by selecting the reference to the source, which is accessible through the hyperlink provided in the response. Let's ask my Copilot another question, and this time Copilot responds with several hyperlinks to the material in the SharePoint site. Next, let's learn how to upload a file as a knowledge source. Select Files, and I'll select Click to Browse, which will launch Windows File Explorer, and I'll select the AI Builder Prompting Guide PDF file to upload to my Copilot. I'll then select Add. My PDF file will then be uploaded, and I can also check the status of it in the Knowledge tab. Once the status has been updated to ready, I can test my Copilot. I'll enter a question. Copilot will then provide a response that references information from the PDF I uploaded. I can double check the response is correct once again by comparing the reference with the source file, which is the PDF file. Finally, let's check out the preview feature of adding enterprise data from Dataverse as a knowledge source. Here, I have the sample fundraisers app, which is used for managing the donations received for fundraisers. I want to add several tables from Dataverse as a knowledge source to my Copilot. In my custom Copilot in Copilot Studio, I'll select Add Knowledge and this time select Dataverse. I can next select the Dataverse tables for my knowledge source by searching for them. I'll select the contact table, the donation table, and the fundraiser table. There's even AI infused in this step where recommendations will be provided of tables to select. Next, we'll have the opportunity to preview the data of the selected tables to ensure this is the data I want my Copilot to be grounded in. What I can do next is define synonyms and the glossary for my Copilot to understand the terminology used by end users so that it can retrieve the relevant data from the columns and tables. I'll add synonyms for all three tables by selecting Edit. Tip here from me is to select the column name header to sort the columns in alphabetical order. Now I'll scroll down to the full name column, add a synonym, followed by adding a description for the column. Let's do the same for the donation table by adding synonyms to the donation amount column. I'll repeat this for any other columns I want to provide synonyms for in the fundraiser table. Once I've defined the necessary synonyms for the tables, I'll select Back. I'll next define my glossary by selecting Edit, followed by entering a term and a description for the term. I'll first enter a term for fundraising and the description for it. I'll repeat this for several more terms, and once I've defined all terms, I'll select Back. We can then add these three Dataverse tables as a knowledge source to my Copilot by selecting Add. I can then test my Copilot. I'll ask it a question of, what was the highest donation amount received so far? In a few seconds, we'll see that it has responded by letting me know the amount of the highest donation received to date. I can also ask a secondary question to the initial question, such as, what fundraiser was this amount for? Copilot once again responds in a few seconds by referencing the name of the fundraiser the donation is associated with, as it understands the context in relation to the initial question asked. Let's ask one last question. What is the total amount so far for the scholarship fund? Copilot will respond to using the data from the Dataverse tables I defined earlier. I can also verify all of this is correct by reviewing the data in the fundraiser app. I can see the highest donation received, followed by confirming the donation is associated to the scholarship fund, and that the total amount received for the fundraiser matches the responses when I tested my Copilot and Copilot Studio. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the description down below for further links. Please subscribe to our Power Platform YouTube channel so that you get notified of when the next episode of our AI in Action Building with Copilot Studio series is posted. See you next time.